Hello, I'm Emma Barnett and welcome to Woman's Hour from BBC Radio 4. Last night, the most extraordinary story was uncovered by the BBC's Panorama programme. Entitled The Missing Princess, you may have seen it. If you've not seen it, I'm sure you may have been reading about it. Our colleagues revealed secret video messages from the daughter of Dubai's ruler accusing her father of holding her hostage. Princess Latifa Al Maktoum say commandos drugged her as she fled by boat. Her friends released the videos as they haven't heard from her for some time and they're very worried about her safety. This morning, the Foreign Secretary, Dominic Raab, says he supports the United Nations' decision to raise the detention with the authorities in the United Arab Emirates. The princess accuses her father of holding her hostage in Dubai since she tried to flee the city in 2018. The governments of Dubai and the UAE have not responded to requests for comment from the BBC. They have always said that Latifa is safe and in the loving care of her family. In those secretly recorded videos shared with the BBC, with Panorama, Princess Latifa says she feared for her life. Here's a clip of her.
I'm in a villa. I'm a hostage, and this villa has been converted into a jail. All the windows are barred shut. I can't open any window. There's 5 policemen outside and 2 policewomen inside the house. And I can't even go outside to get any fresh air.
Let's bring in Radha Stirling at this point from the group Detained in Dubai. Radha, you are very familiar with the double lives, really, that's going on here. But you also work a lot with Westerners who find themselves on the wrong side of the rules.
Yeah, that's right. And it's very interesting because we see even British nationals and European nationals actually misusing and abusing these male guardianship laws that are in force. And we've seen them take cases against their wives or their husbands that you would never see in a Western nation. So that just highlights the kind of infrastructure that I think is in the UAE. I mean, as far as Latifa is concerned, she had, a very... a good reason for wanting to leave. She'd seen her sister be arrested or taken away. She'd tried to escape and then she was forcibly drugged. So, of course, for Latifa, seeing her sister being drugged and abused is going to make her very worried about what's going to happen to her if she steps out of line, and to also want to save her sister. So she had very, very good reasons from the beginning to try to...
And sorry, just to say, to break in there, you have spoken to her, is that right, in the past?
I was in touch with her, in fact, during the attack on the yacht, when she called me about hearing gunshots in the background. So, I mean, that was a very traumatic experience. And, and seeing that again, that she's still trying to escape, I think that also highlights the need for some sort of diplomatic intervention, because we're seeing an attack in the international waters. We're seeing kidnappings from British soil. And I have several other torture cases that I've dealt with over the past few years. And in fact, we have litigation in the UK and the US with claims of torture from current detainees. So what we're seeing is this repetitive situation that no one's talking about. No one's talking about the fact that these unlawful acts are happening, and not just against Emirati princesses and Emiratis, but also British nationals and foreign nationals.
In 13 years of your organisation, you've helped, is it 15,000 people? Is that right?
At least more approaching 20,000, yes, and the cases just keep escalating. We've dealt with, as a result of Latifa's actions in trying to escape and really bringing that to the international press back in 2018, we saw other Emirati women looking to follow that same situation, because some Emirati women have this public life and they can actually go out and work and they're having a good time and they're socialising, and they're saying that it's just not possible that these women are suffering in the UAE. But the only reason that they have their freedom and they're living this good life is because it just hasn't been taken away from them at this point. If at any time a male guardian wants to take away their freedom, well, he can, and they have no recourse. They've got no one to go to. They can't turn to the police officers. Usually the Emiratis are, it's a small community and they have influence over the judicial system, or they know the head of police. They know someone who knows a royal. And if a woman makes a complaint, even if it's physical abuse or verbal abuse, whatever it is, a child custody issue, they're not going to get heard. And we've seen other sheikhs since then. Sheikha Zainab released a video of her calling out for help in the middle of an emergency crisis. And what happened? Again, her phone was taken away. So we have this mass censorship of these women who are calling out for help. Even during Latifa's escape, her Instagram account was cancelled with, on request of the UAE. Several other emergency accounts that have been set up from women asking for emergency intervention have been cancelled, whether that's on Twitter or Facebook. And that's something that needs to be addressed as well. There's simply no access to help for these women.
Can I ask you, as someone who's been working for years now on a variety of cases, but all around restrictions and civil liberties being infringed in the United Arab Emirates, specifically detained in Dubai, as your name describes, would you ever go on holiday there?
If I were to turn up on holiday, I think that I would be arrested immediately in violation not only of cybercrime laws, but also national security instances. And most people who actually arrive in the UAE unknowingly are already criminalised under the UAE cybercrime laws. That we've had people arrested for posting or sharing something on Facebook from outside of the UAE several years ago. So they have extraterritorial and retroactive laws that can land anyone in jail. And I would say 99% of people who arrive in the UAE are already in violation of those laws, and they're at great risk. We just dealt with a case last week of a woman who was arrested for a private WhatsApp message. So this is something that's, really hasn't been highlighted. We have Dubai on every other page of every newspaper advertising their, travel expat groups, and now they've
you are here on Woman's Hour doing exactly that. So thank you for that and that insight. And there, Radha Stirling from the group Detained in Dubai.